Your 6 strongest practical password techniques ranked. Hi everyone, Leo Notenboom here for askleo.com. You know, after 45 years, I can still remember the password we used to access a status terminal in the computer center at college. The password was, I forgot. It's a very memorable but horrible password. It was appropriate at the time because it was a public access terminal. Anyone could sign in, and for some reason a password of some sort was required. They made it simple and posted it on the terminal itself. There was zero security. You want something better. There are several techniques for generating strong passwords. I'll review some from the best to the worst. Your best approach to passwords. Number 1, long with random characters. Number 2, a passphrase long with multiple random words like drying Karen Ruth afoot sauce. 3, medium-length words with padding like star underscore star underscore star breakfast pancakes star underscore star underscore star. Number 4, medium-length words with random characters. Number 5, shorter, again, with padding, star 4 star, I forgot, star 4 star. Shorter with random characters. Whatever technique you use, make sure to use a different password on every site and use a password vault to track them all. Let's dive into that a little bit deeper. These are my personal opinions based on the last 20 plus years of helping people with passwords. My criteria are actually pretty simple. Passwords must be able to resist automated brute force try every password attack. Passwords must be very unguessable. Passwords must be extremely unlikely to have been encountered anywhere else. In some cases, but not all, it would be nice if they were easy to memorize. Now, I'm ruling out some of the more esoteric approaches, even though they might be secure, because these techniques have to be practical as well as secure. I'm going to assume that you will not use the same password on multiple sites, period. Regardless of the strength of your passwords, that's one of the most dangerous practices there is. I'm also going to assume you're using a password vault. While being able to remember some passwords might be nice, it's not practical when using strong, long passwords that are different for every account. This is one of the reasons that I and so many others recommend strongly using password vaults. They let you use strong security practices without taxing your memory or your patience. All right, let's look at those examples again. Number 1, long with random characters. Here's one on the screen. I'm not even going to try to pronounce it. The strongest approach is the one you probably are most afraid of. Long strings of completely random characters. This example is a 20-character password generated by a password manager. Many other tools, of course, can generate passwords for you, and many let you control what kinds of characters are used. Now, since not all special characters can be used on all systems, my own default configuration is to use, again, a 20-character password, but without special characters. 20 characters are more than sufficiently strong. If a special character is required by the site, I'll add one manually. Using 20 random character passwords is considered so strong that they don't even appear on many "how long would it take to crack" password reports. The last report I looked at topped out at 14, and that was going to take over 814 centuries to crack. My recommendation of a 20-character password is future-proof, and it's possible only because I use a password vault. Number 2, the passphrase, long with multiple random words. For example, drying Karen Ruth afoot sauce. These are also known as passphrases. We all remember Correct Horse Battery staple from the XKCD cartoon. This shows you just how memorable words can be. If you can build a picture, as the cartoon actually describes, of some nonsense scenario involving randomly selected words, all the better to help you recall it without any aid. This example, a 29-character password created by 5 completely random words, is great. A 5 random word passphrase would take a large distributed system of many computers 14 years to crack, and only if they knew that your password was made up of common words. That seems plenty secure. Include spaces, of course, if you're so inclined and the service supports it. If not, running them all together is also a fine approach, or perhaps capitalize the individual words instead. This is a good solution for passwords you must remember, perhaps the password to your password vault. I use a slightly less secure variation I'll talk about in a minute. Number 2A, long with multi-word mangled phrases. For example, Obi-Wan, you're my only soap. That's memorable. At 27 characters, it's plenty long to defeat brute force attacks. It's a slight mangling of a phrase that's well known in pop culture. What makes it secure against guessing is the mangling. It starts 2 words into the phrase, drops 1 word, and includes a word not in the original. If that doesn't seem mangled enough for you, well, I believe it is, you can certainly do more to obfuscate the actual words used while maintaining the memorability of the phrase. Just remember how you mangle it. I use this technique for passwords I need to remember. I have memorized a specific phrase and the technique I use to mangle it. Now, there are many variations of this technique, for example, using the first letter of each apparently random word to spell out a memorable keyword. Remembering kitten might be the doorway to help you remember your password as kitten in sight, Tuesday, tornado, else nothing. Number 3, medium length words with padding. For example, asterisk dash, asterisk dash, asterisk, breakfast pancakes, and then that same asterisk dash pattern at the end. Length trumps just about everything when creating a password resistant to brute force cracking. So a combination of random or semi-random words with some standard characters around them can actually be quite secure. The example I hear is just password made up of 2 common words with padding added before and after. In this case, the padding is a pattern. Adding an easily recalled pattern to a password or passphrase is a very useful technique. At 28 characters, this password is not going to be brute forced, while breakfast pancakes might be a word pattern that's used in some password guessers. Adding a pattern of your own creation also thwarts that. Number 4, medium length with random characters. This one's short enough for me to read. Lowercase l, closed paren, lowercase ws7, period, uppercase b, uppercase o, uppercase z, and the number 1. Honestly, this is nothing more than our number 1 technique, but shorter, 10 characters instead of 20. This technique creates a good password that would take 9 years to crack using a multi-computer attack. You can, of course, adjust the length as you see fit, but for a truly random selection, I would not go below 10 characters. As a variation that's easier to type, a 12-character password using only upper and lowercase alphanumeric characters, for example, what's on the screen, would take 24 years to crack. However, this is where my recommendation has changed over the years. I now recommend 12 random characters or longer, including special characters, or 16 random alphanumeric mixed case characters. By eliminating special characters, that second one is actually pretty easy to type. Number 5, shorter with padding. For example, *4*, I forgot *4*. I keep coming back to length and padding as great ways to make those old passwords you remember easily much more secure. In this example, I've taken that memorable but horrible password I used 45 years ago and made it significantly more secure by adding a simple pattern of my own creation before and after. It's actually now a good, secure 13-character password. Number 6, shorter random characters. For example, open paren 8DQ, comma, close bracket QA. If you must use a password less than 12 characters in length, as unbelievably some older systems still require, your only secure option is to use passwords of completely random characters, including letters, numbers, upper and lower case, and special characters. This is your least bad option under those constraints. I'm going to continue to beat the drum for using a password manager for two important reasons. One, it makes using the most secure techniques for password generation easy, and it makes using a different password on every site easy. Add two-factor authentication for additional security whenever possible, but regardless, use the strongest passwords you possibly can. For updates, for comments, for links related to this topic and more, visit askleo.com/132876. I'm Leo Notenboom, and this is askleo.com. Thanks for watching.